Welcome to Ridgewood Talks. Through this podcast, we will be introducing you to some of the leaders and legends in our village. We'll keep you updated about fascinating local events. We'll dig into the town's hot topics and so much more. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Jeanne Johnson, the founder of Ridgewood Talks and Ridgewood Walks. The goal of these initiatives is to create a kinder, more connected, and more vibrant community. I'm thrilled to be hosting this podcast with my good friend and all-around wonderful guy, Jordan Kaufman. We look forward to meeting with you weekly and hearing your thoughts on who and what you'd like to learn about in our beautiful hometown. For now, be kind, do good, and enjoy this episode. Here we go. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Ridgewood Talks. I am beyond excited to sit down with someone whose talent, vision, and adventurous spirit bring beauty to everything he touches. Eric Santoli. He's a Ridgewood High School graduate and received a bachelor's in fine art from the University of Pennsylvania, and he also completed his master's in studio art from the Florence Academy of Art. In 2023, Eric had the incredible honor of living and working as artist in residence at Claude Monet's house and gardens in France. Yep, you heard that right. He lived and painted in Monet's home, and now he's developing an exciting new travel and painting program called Eric En Plein Air for American Public Television. And when he's not painting, you'll find him outside, gardening, skating, reading, traveling, or riding his Triumph Bonneville T100. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I'm so happy to talk to you. You know, we had a little pre-interview a couple of months ago, so I'm so glad that you're finally here. And for our viewers, I want to talk about this painting right away.
Sure.
And then we're going to go right into the interview. But the funny thing is, we talked about what you were doing in the En Plein Air thing. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, God,
En Plein Air just means outdoors in open nature.
And so I walk around Ridgewood a lot, and a couple days after our little conversation, I was walking through the beautiful gardens at the stable. It's called the Secret Garden, right? And I was like, oh my God, there's a guy painting. And I came up to you and I'm like, hey, Eric, is that you?
That's me, yeah.
We're so excited to see each other. And voila, look at this.
Yes, yeah. So this is a scene, it's right behind the stable. And we were teaching a 6-week class for the stable. So it was a great opportunity to have everybody kind of gather there and paint. Yeah. And this was sort of a demonstration painting that I worked on.
I love it.
And thank you so much. But there's a fountain, and I'm sure this time of year, beginning of July, it's a lot more full.
Yeah, a lot more colorful, but it's still gorgeous nonetheless. Thank you for bringing that in, too. And I'm so happy that our viewers get to see it. So you are a Ridgewood graduate. What year did you graduate from Ridgewood?
2009.
Okay. I don't know if you know this, but we interviewed Chris McCullough recently, and we talked about you.
Oh, wow.
And then yesterday, I had the great pleasure of a house guest, Athena Maxwell, was at my house. I told her that I was interviewing you, and she was so excited. She's like, oh, tell him hello.
Oh, awesome.
I said, you know, I don't really know that much about fine art, and so I was really nervous about this. Okay. And she said, oh, well, Jeanne, don't be dumb. Just ask him. Just tell him. I don't know very much about fine art. Teach me. Teach me. You learned about it at UPenn, as we said, and at you got your MFA in Florence. So talk about that for us.
Yeah. So I was in my undergrad. I was very fortunate. I found a program between the University of Pennsylvania and another school called the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Art.
Right. I did read that. Yeah.
So that's actually the first art school in America, and it's from 1805. And they've got a great museum. If you're ever in Philly, check out the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts because they've got a great collection. But yeah, so the program actually was a 5-year program, and you could get your bachelor's from Penn, and then you ended up getting a lot of art training from
That's awesome.
HAFA. So yeah, it's a great program. It's still going on. It's been around for just about 100 years. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, that they offer that. There's another program also between the Rhode Island School of Design,
RISD, yep.
and Brown. So they have a similar Ivy League versus really good quality art.
Yeah, there are a couple of kids from Ridgewood High School that have done that.
Yes,
I can't think of their names right offhand, but I think it's really cool that you did that. So then, let's go back for a second. When you were at Ridgewood High School, I think you told me that you were really a sports kid.
I was,
so talk about that.
Yeah, so I actually played quite a bit of squash, which is a racket sport, and I ended up playing it a bit at University of Pennsylvania too, because they've got an amazing squash team. But yeah, so I played that. When I was younger than that, I played quite a bit of baseball. So I really enjoyed athletics. I still do.
Right.
But it was more drawing and painting was something that I just did.
Well, so how did you get into that? Was that something that happened at Ridgewood?
Yeah, I had a teacher, an amazing teacher named Denise Sivelich, who after graduating and everything, we became friends. And she really motivated me. I got my classes shuffled around, and I ended up in a acrylic painting class. And I had always loved drawing, and I had done a bit of painting, but I was not quite sure of, am I going to like this? Like, your classes get switched around. So I ended up in there with Mrs. Sivelich, and she just, from the minute I was in, just encouraging. And then I just had this development of, like, just the love for the feeling of paint, and then drawing came in more, and that's sort of how it happened.
Yeah, you know what? And there's such a theme, because we've interviewed quite a few people that are Ridgewood High School graduates, and they talk about the impact that the teachers have had on them, and how important it is, like, to go back and visit those teachers and let them know that. So I love that you did that, and then going back to Ridgewood and just visiting, and then eventually getting a job there. It's kind of incredible.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I love that. So one of the things that I know you want to talk about today, which I love, is how art can be therapy. We're going through some really tough times right now.
Definitely.
And I don't know what that's all about, and I don't really want to dissect anything politically, but I just feel that there's a sense of anxiety that we're experiencing, and some of that is politically motivated, some of that could be from our devices that we're on. So how can fine art be comforting to us? Yeah,
so as a teacher, I really try to encourage people that it's not a all or nothing type of situation. So if you enjoy painting and drawing, just like as if you enjoy music or writing or anything, you can do it in your own way and at your own time. So for me, art really became therapeutic as well, recently going through things, past going through things. It was something that I could always rely on, and it was always there.
Right.
And I think that's something that everyone can develop, and everyone can enjoy it. There's a lot of different ways of enjoying art making, and it doesn't just have to be painting, drawing. It could be something tactile,
or even writing,
pottery.
Right?
Writing is huge, illustration. So that part of it, it's really important, and I think for all ages, it's something that you can develop and enjoy.
Yeah, to channel that energy, that negative energy into something positive is really important. I was perusing your website, which is gorgeous, by the way. I love all the paintings. Did you do that on your own?
Yeah, the website. Yeah, I started in college and just sort of snowballed it, and I have a blog, and I enjoy it. It's a very comprehensive website. So for our listeners, go ahead and give them the website address. Sure. Yeah, it's www.ericsantoli.com. Eric with a C.
Yeah.
And if you Google Eric Santoli, it'll pop up too.
Yeah, you're kind of famous around these parts, and probably beyond too. So. I know we mentioned this, that there's a different value in seeing art in person versus online. So, expound on that a little. Yeah,
so that's huge. That's something I really, really emphasize. So seeing art in person is a completely different experience from seeing it on a screen or, even on a good quality screen, because painting, we think of sculpture as being three-dimensional, but paint itself is a three-dimensional. If we look at this painting, it has a tactile quality to it.
Oh yeah, you can definitely see that.
And the color, and you can see all of the differences, the elements. So when you go to a museum, and it doesn't just have to be a big famous museum, you could go to a small museum. The Montclair Art Museum is a great place in Montclair. You could go to a gallery. You know, it's like live music versus recorded music.
True.
There's
That's
such
a good
depth.
analogy. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a depth to seeing art in person, the scale, and I think as we become more accustomed to viewing the world and art on a screen or just in any capacity, not in person, books too. I mean, they illustrate a book, but you want to spend as much time with the real source as you can.
Oh, for
because it can be
sure.
life-changing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, even just looking at a painting and appreciating the person who took the time to do it too. Different paintings. There's what's coming to my mind right now. There's a Flagler Museum in Palm Beach, Florida. And I love going there to just sit and look at these gargantuan paintings that were painted at the turn of the century. And the colors are still so
They're
vibrant.
still there.
It's just amazing that kind of thing holds up. I love what you said, and I'm going to paraphrase this. My work is directly from nature. One of my motivations is to create my own memories, which I record and paint. So talk about that.
Yeah, so I guess it was maybe 5 or so years ago, I really made a switch and committed to painting all my subjects, portraits, because I also do portraits, and figurative work. Portraits, landscapes, still lifes too, from life, from nature. And that really became a motto or credo that I follow, mostly because it creates a better painting in the end, because I feel more connected to the subject matter.
Right.
But it's really, it can be difficult to, when you have a reference and you're working from a reference, it can be easy to kind of feel like you're just copying it. And then for me, a lot of the joy kind of falls away. And when you're experiencing nature firsthand, or portrait, if you're painting someone's portrait, it can be more than just about the painting.
Right, you
it's
kind of feel the energy of the person. You feel 100%. The energy around you.
And people look different. I know I look different in photos.
Right.
A landscape can look different in a photo. A photo is not direct reality.
Right.
So,
for sure. I mean, as we see on social media, a lot of selfies that are enhanced by filters and things like that. So I want to know, you said that artists inspire you. So who are the artists that inspire you and why?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely something I could talk
I'm
all
going to
day
guess
about.
probably Claude Monet. Yes.
I'm a huge Monet fan.
Okay.
And a big fan of Monet also was an artist named John Singer Sargent.
Okay.
And so John Singer Sargent, he was born in 1856 in Florence to American expats. And he became very close friends with Monet later on. And Sargent was just like this all-around artist. I mean, for me, the guy did it all. He did watercolor, he did oil, he did portraits, he did landscapes, he did murals, very famous murals in Boston. So Sargent is a big name.
I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
cool.
If you go to the MFA in Boston or the Boston Public Library, you can see Sargent's murals.
I love that.
And they're amazing. So Sargent is a big name. There's also another big name, which is less known in the U.S., but his name was Joaquin Sorolla.
Okay.
And he was a friend and contemporary of Sargent, but he was a Spanish painter. If you go to Spain and you mention Sorolla, everybody knows Sorolla.
Like Dali.
Like Dali.
Right.
But here, I guess.
By the way, there's some resemblances.
Yes. Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. The mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only grew it for the painting purpose.
I love it.
Right?
I love it. Yeah.
So Sorolla's a big name. There's another academic artist named Bouguereau, William Adolph Bouguereau, who was a big influence, and then just the old masters.
So what about them that
inspired
really?
me?
Yeah. Is it the type of things that they paint?
Yeah,
is it their style,
it's
the colors?
Subject matter. It's style, and
because color is really important too.
Oh,
certain
100%.
Artists. I mean, as Van Gogh, like the yellow. Wow.
And Monet too,
and Monet too. Yeah.
And I think it's something that you maybe can't even put into words. I think it's something. It's like when you meet someone and then you just get to know them and they're amazing and they have all this like qualities to them. It's difficult to put into a nutshell. That's kind of how I feel about paintings.
Yeah.
Or a great song, or a great band.
Yeah.
It can really change your
and the feeling
life.
that you get from it, right?
Yeah. So I guess they all kind of have a similarity, but they all have something unique about them.
So, is this true? When you look at the greats, I read somewhere that, really someone like you could not be considered a great until you're gray and old or dead.
Yeah.
Right? And that there was, in France, there's this apprentice program, and all of the greats apprentice together. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, for sure. So that goes back to even the Renaissance, where you would have an apprentice. The word master is a funny word, because who's to say who's a master? I think a lot of masters would even say that they're still
Not
learning,
yet, yeah.
and they're,
Which I love. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because, you never want to stop learning.
Right.
And I've read quite a bit of biographies or autobiographies for artists, and I think there's something about aging and getting wisdom and then incorporating it into your art that you don't see quite the same way.
There's a sophistication that comes as you've gone through
Rembrandt
life.
is a big one for that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So do you do any work here at the Art Institute in Ridgewood?
Yeah. Actually, when I started painting, I was a student there, and I taught there for a little bit, and I took watercolor classes. I still, every once in a while, they have a Monday night figure drawing where you can go. They have a model.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. But they do art shows. They do all sorts of stuff.
I love
over
that
there,
place. Oh, first of all, and just the history of that place is really cool too.
And it was
an old stable.
Yeah, for the house right across the street. The
and there was
house.
a tunnel underneath.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah,
is that true?
crazy.
Though?
Yes, that's true.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's a little
so
spooky,
if listeners, if you have not been out to the Art Institute in Ridgewood, it's on the corner of Oak Street and Glen, and it says Art Show Today. Like it's
Everyone
been up there for 100 years.
They don't go in.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about the Art Institute is it is one of the only places that has a north-facing light,
the
right?
north light.
So can you explain that?
Yeah, so north light is very clear, and the most important thing is very consistent. So if you have a studio that has north light, it's coveted because you get a very clear, strong light. So that's why, and that the Art Institute, they have that.
And they have that, and everyone, I've done a couple of walking tours through there, and the artists come from as far, they come to that light.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. No, it's like,
cool.
it's a pretty well-known place.
Yes, and for those of you who have not visited, you must. And every year they have these lotteries, these art lotteries. The artists paint things, and then it's just fabulous. So if you haven't been there, you must go. And I want to talk a little bit about how we can support artists. Go on about that, because it's not something that, I'm going to go and be an artist, and it takes a long time to hone that skill and to make a living. So how can we support you, and how can just people that are very uneducated about this really value your work?
Yeah, supporting artists, and this goes for all forms of art. I'm not just talking about painting.
Yeah.
If you can find some level of support, and it could be something very simple like, reaching out to an artist and saying, do you have anything available? Commissions are a big thing. A lot of artists do commissions. So if you reach out to an artist and purchase something that you love, then you'll be happier. You're helping support art. You're doing all this great stuff. Take art classes too, because there's a lot of teaching artists out there who teach classes at the Ridgewood Art Institute. They teach all sorts of classes. They're all great artists. If you go and just have fun with a class, take a class for fun. Just enjoy it, and then you're supporting the art that way too.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell you. So I am working on a project in Ridgewood. We've named it Outside Air, Art in Ridgewood. So it is
Cool.
En Plein Air.
En Plein Air, yeah.
So, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're going to be painting some murals. We're going to be doing a mosaic.
That's awesome.
We're doing some interactive murals. So Athena's involved in that. I'm going to grab you and get you involved in some of that
That sounds
too.
good. I'm excited.
And so that's one of the things. So the idea that we have for the pedestrian tunnel is that we're going to put a mosaic in there. And there's this company that it's just incredible. They actually send out a 4x6 canvas, and you sell those little canvases, and they tell you what colors you can use. So,
and then you put it together.
right.
Wow.
So it's kind of like a puzzle. It's really
Super
going to
cool.
be amazing. It's really, really going to be amazing. And when I was inquiring with this company about how it all works, I said, we'll sell those tiles. And she said, oh, no. She said, you don't do that.
Yeah, give them away.
Well, she said, because people that paint this, they're really invested in that, and they want to be paid. They don't want to pay you. And I was like, well, I'm kind of thinking about, kids in elementary school, but at the same time, I really loved that she was being respectful of artists and saying, look, pay them. Don't ask them to do this stuff for free. Make sure that and when you see something, make sure that you show the artist how it moved you and how much you appreciate it.
That means everything. Yeah.
Because you're working from the inside out. Right.
Yeah. And it can be a very difficult process. Creating work of art is, it can be frustrating. It can be, you can go through all ups and downs with a painting.
And it shows through your paintings. I mean, like if we look at some of the greats and we look at some of their dark pieces, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it can really go down a road and tell a story without it even saying a word, right?
Yeah. No, but just support art in any way. It really it makes all the difference.
I'm super excited about getting some art installations here. We have a few. We have one that's outside of the bike shop. If you go into that.
Okay. Yeah.
And then if you look in front of Rossi Paint, which is on Chestnut. Is it on Chestnut? No, it's on. Yeah.
There's also the Mailman.
And the Mailman, so have you been? That's from
the Grounds for Sculpture.
The Grounds for Sculpture. Have you been out there? I'm sure.
Yes, I have. Yeah. It's a great place.
Oh my gosh! So can you give us a little bit of the history of Grounds for Sculpture?
Yeah. The artist's name,
Seward Johnson.
Seward Johnson.
The Johnson and Johnson. dynasty.
So the Grounds for Sculpture is Hamilton, which is a little farther south. Yeah. But it's a great place. It's huge, and they've got.
I don't know how many acres. I want to say it's
big.
It's very big.
Yeah, you could spend all day there.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, you could spend all day. But there's a train that goes right there too to Hamilton Station.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
So they've got a lot.
And when people get there, what are they going to find?
Well, there's recreations of art in these hyper-realistic sculptures, like the Postman in town, where you walk by, it's like, wait a second. That's not a real person.
Yes.
But so they're recreations of paintings, Van Gogh, there's a Renoir, there's other things.
Yes, and with the
really
bridge
cool.
and the whole thing.
It's really cool.
And it's really cool because you can sit down and be part of that.
Yes, really, and it feels like you're there because it's like kind of like wax museum kind of vibe.
But it's all, is it bronze? I don't know what the element is.
Some sort of metal, but they're painted.
Yes.
And they're hyper-realistic.
And they're very realistic. And when you eat at the restaurant there, it's almost like you're taken back to like the French countryside, right?
Yeah. It's cool.
I love it.
Yeah, it gives you the vibe of France.
Oh gosh, it's so amazing. And so Seward Johnson, I was trying a few years ago, right before COVID, to get an art exhibit here with those. I mean, some people are freaked out by them. Some people, whatever.
I think they're really cool.
But I think they're really cool. And what I was going to do is I was going to strategically place those sculptures along walking routes to school, so the kids would be incentivized to walk to school to see that art.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
But you know what we need for that?
What?
Money, and that's always super hard to raise money. And that segues me right into the next thing. You have been very instrumental in raising money for nonprofits here in Ridgewood. Thank you so much. I think we all have a responsibility to our communities to give back, and you have done that in a big way. So tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I've worked with a couple organizations, the Women Gardeners, which just celebrated their 100th year. I had done a lecture about my time in France with the Women Gardeners, and I was just kind of thinking about ideas, different collaboration. I said, if you're doing a silent auction, I'd love to donate a painting, just to help raise money. So they did that. That was great. I'm happy to help any way I can.
Which is so generous of you.
Oh, well, I'm fortunate. I enjoy what I do, and I think sharing it is really important. And then there's a upcoming auction for Children's Aid and Family Services.
Right, and that's in September, I think.
Yeah. So they're doing a Paris-themed
very cool
gala kind of thing. But I like it.
You did something for the James Rose Center, right?
Yeah, we just had a workshop, a sketching workshop So
and what a great place.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, that's another place.
The James Rose Center.
Yes,
if anyone
listeners,
out there.
if you have not been there, it is something to see.
Right near the high school.
Right near the high school. It kind of looks like when you drive by, you think, well, what kind of dump is that?
I don't know what that is.
Right, yeah. Like, why don't they fix that up? I mean, I remember driving by and thinking that. And if you don't know, you got to go. You got to learn about it. You got to learn about James Rose. And what, how would you describe James Rose? He was a rebel. Yes, he was. And he thought he was Frank Lloyd Wright, but he wanted to one-up Frank Lloyd.
Yeah.
And it is...
Interesting person, for sure.
Oh, yeah, totally interesting person. And, the trees... The house built around the trees with the trees inside.
Unfortunately, they had a tree fall on it, too. And they need support too.
They do. So like all of these organizations.
They do events, they do all sorts of stuff.
Yes. And so speaking of another organization that's near and dear to my heart is the Ridgewood Historical Society.
Yes,
and thank you so much because you did a talk there.
Lecture there,
too.
yeah.
So
that's actually kind of how we got connected because one of the participants, or
Jenny Allard.
Jenny,
she's the co-president. Yeah. So she was the one that said, you got to talk to this guy, and she kept bugging me. She's like, have you called him yet? Have you called him yet?
Great.
So I love that.
I love Jenny.
Yeah, me too. So you have a huge fan base here in Ridgewood, and I love that.
The support is really great.
So that's going to be really helpful for you for your television show. So talk about that.
Yeah. So this is sort of the newest project. It's something that I didn't expect to be doing, but I was a guest on another show called Life in Bloom, which is a floral garden show. And the host of that show is a guy named Jay Schwanke. And it's on a couple channels. If anybody watches Create TV is on.
Let me just pause for 1 second. I like his name.
Jay Schwanke.
Jay Schwanke.
Okay. Life in Bloom. He's the greatest guy ever.
Yeah.
And so I was a guest on his show talking about my experience in France. And we just hit it off and we started talking. And then, the idea developed of, have like a painting and travel show.
I love that.
Would be really interesting. So I wrote up a treatment and it eventually sort of developed, got picked up, and we're at the stage now. We filmed a pilot, if anybody wants to check out the pilot. And you can check out ericonpleinair.com, which is linked from my website too.
So
But
you can find this pilot on your website.
Yeah. And you can find it pretty
easily. And you traveled really far, all the way to the Celery Farm.
Yes, I know. Can you believe that? Yeah, we almost didn't make it. Yeah. But the Celery Farm is another place people should support,
Totally.
They do all the volunteer work and all sorts of stuff.
I mean, and just walking on those trails back
That's
there.
a great place.
It's the most peaceful place.
It's super peaceful. And it's right down the road.
Yeah.
So check out the Celery Farm.
I love that you chose that. What inspired you to pick the Celery?
That was almost like a let's go local. A big emphasis of the show is about nature preservation and also wildlife. So I got in contact with a gentleman named Jim Wright, who was a guest and my guest on he does volunteer work, all sorts of stuff.
What a guy.
He's do you know him?
Well, no, I just from watching the pilot
he's great.
And learning,
He's great.
And I was so appreciative that you gave him time in the spotlight.
Oh yeah, no, he shared so much. A big thing that they're battling is they have a lot of danger of their hawk population from rodent traps and things like that.
Oh, interesting.
So
that's fascinating.
Yeah, he's a really interesting guy and he does a lot of good work. So he was my guest, generously donated his time to be on the show, and we filmed the pilot, which was there. Yeah. We wanted to just keep it low. We had other places in mind. The Hermitage was another place in Hohokus, because I did some workshops there. But it eventually then just developed into that, and it's been fun. It's been, we're at the stage now where we're just getting locations and
so what
budget.
Are some of the other locations that you're looking at?
Yeah, so other places, another place is in Montclair. It's called Van Vleck, Van Vleck Gardens, and that's a great place. We're a little late now, but there's the Presby Iris Gardens, which is another place in Montclair.
Okay, so you're staying pretty local.
We want to try to keep it local for budget reasons too.
Anthony Bourdain and end up in Vietnam?
We're thinking about doing a trip back to Giverny for France.
Nice.
The first season, the budget is a little tighter.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's there again.
My dream is to go all over.
Yeah, good.
I'd love to go all over.
Well, I will say this. I love Bob Vila, and he is a cultural icon. I mean, people are having Bob Vila birthday parties. It's so cool. So I hope that happens for you. But it's a lot more interesting and entertaining because you brought in so much information in the beginning of the show, and then you show people exactly how to paint.
Yeah, it's very instructive.
It's really instructive, and you do it in such just an easy, comfortable way. Like, it's not intimidating. So I really love that style.
I just want to make it accessible. Another big thing too is just very practical advice for anybody who's curious about painting and painting outdoors. There's a lot you can do just with simple materials. So accessibility is a big thing.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so we talked about earlier when we were talking about artists and being able to recognize their art through their color. Is there a color palette that you seem to lean toward? Because I'm seeing a lot of the browns and the greens. Is that something that...
Yeah, definitely more natural. And I'll share a little thing that I'm actually colorblind. Which not a lot of people know about, but I am. I have colorblindness. Yeah, my grandfather. It's hereditary.
Yeah,
so I have a brother who's not colorblind, but he's an attorney.
So fascinating to me because I have a friend. Well, my brother's colorblind. My mother. It's very rare for women to be.
2%.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I have this friend who's colorblind, and his wife said, "Well, we are decorating our home to soothe his palate. Everything is green and brown."
Yes.
So he's like, she said, if he can't see any color, then neither will the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's really green and brown.
Yeah. It's a funny thing because people think maybe you see in shades of black and white or something. Well, no, I see color and I can see certain colors very well. Like my favorite color is yellow because I can see it very well. But other colors too, like the browns and greens and things like that.
So I have the flowers on my dress. Yeah. Can you see anything?
Definitely, yeah. Pink and fuchsia.
Oh, you do?
Kind of like coral.
Good.
And I wonder also if it's a genetic thing, so there's no changing it.
Right.
But through my own painting, I wonder if I've maybe helped myself develop a better sense of color.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Because of using my palette.
That is the most fascinating thing, to be a colorblind artist. I
know. I definitely got some jokes when I was in school.
Have you tried those glasses?
Yeah, those things, they really don't work.
They don't
work.
So
unfortunately,
so it's just a big farce.
Yeah, sort of. I watched sort of a expose about it where it was that they don't actually do anything because it's advertised as like, oh, we can solve color blindness,
right?
But you're missing cones in your eye, which is what sees color.
And you're not gonna
replace that. Maybe it enhances how you see color, but it's not gonna replace it. So. But it's just one of those things. It's a funny thing, right?
Yeah, that is wild. So, that's a great thing about this show that you're doing. And so, are you involved in the production part of it, or do you have that whole team that does that too?
Yeah, no. So I'm working with a production company, but I'm also, I guess you could call it like an associate producer.
So you're scouting and you're doing
because I really want to be hands-on with it, and I really want to be involved because at the beginning they said, how much do you want to just be the host? Do you want to have some say in where you go? And the great thing about public television is you get 100% creative control. So the rights, everything, it's about what you want in your vision, and it's collaborative. So I'm working with a group and a team, but they've given me so much freedom. It's been amazing. So
well, I wish you all the luck in that.
Thank you.
I really do hope that you become, like the Anthony Bourdain of our
thank
world,
you.
right?
Yeah.
And so do you have any other plans to do any more work abroad and go back to Monet's home? I want to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. We're hoping to do at least 2 or 3 episodes back in France, in Monet's garden.
But I want to talk about your time there. What was that like? How long were you there?
Yeah, so I was there for 3 months, which is a healthy chunk of time, a quarter of a year. So I was there from the end of May to the end of August.
So you were there during the really hot time.
Yes, it was hot, but it wasn't so bad because in the garden and everything, it kind of had a cooling atmosphere. But and I was painting in the garden early in the morning. So how this came about was because of a fellowship that I was awarded in 2021, and that was during the pandemic, and then everything got sort of delayed for a couple of years. So I didn't end up going until 2023, and it was, when I think back on it, it's like that didn't happen. There's no way that happened. That was all a dream,
what a dream.
But it was my first time in France, and I traveled around. I went to the town where Van Gogh is buried. It's called Auvers-sur-Oise.
That's cool.
So that was good. That was very
Did you
interesting.
go to Versailles?
Yes, went to Versailles twice,
Oh,
and
God.
went in and out of Paris a bunch. Got
Yeah.
my art supplies in Paris, and
Yeah.
it was.
So you
it was
must
a
have really
dream.
felt like
I felt like the
I mean,
Parisian
I
artist.
can
Yeah,
completely understand why that would feel like a dream. Right?
it was. Yeah,
How
it was
comfortable
amazing.
was the bed and your accommodations?
All of that was really, really nice because the Monet Foundation is
provide all that.
they provided everything, and
Nice.
they give you a fellowship award, so you don't have to worry about finances for that time.
Mm-hmm.
And the town of Giverny, which is about an hour away from Paris, they have a train that takes you pretty much there. It's a magical place. It's a magical place. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy. So how many other people were there with you?
So I was the artist in residence.
Mm-hmm.
They do have.
But I mean, was there staff or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. So they had a team for the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
A team. They have a team of 9 gardeners who. A majority of them didn't speak English, but I picked up a good amount of French, and I was able to kind of converse. The head gardener was like the sweetest guy in the world. And then the foundation has a whole team of people, the Monet Foundation.
Right.
So
you weren't lonely.
No,
doing your work and meeting people and
It was
doing
great.
some gardening.
It was
now
great.
So we talked about some of the things that you like to do as pastimes, which is gardening,
Yes.
right? And skating. Now, is that ice skating?
Skateboarding.
Skateboarding.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love skateboarding.
So where is the skateboard park that you enjoy going
So
to?
the skateboard park, which is right next to Graydon,
Oh,
is
so you
actually
like that one? Oh,
yeah,
good.
that's a skate park.
Yeah.
I'm just good enough at skateboarding that I enjoy it, but I'm not good enough to really do anything crazy.
Well, you can't because what happens if you
If I break
your
my arm, I'm
hands?
done.
This
yeah,
is not good. Yeah.
But there are some great skaters who go there, and I admire. Skating is more of an art form than a sport because everybody has a style, and there's a certain. It's in the Olympics now, but
Yeah.
I always enjoy. So I like skateboarding. I like riding my motorcycle.
Yeah,
I like
let's
the
talk about
extreme
this.
stuff.
It's a Bonneville.
Triumph Bonneville. Yeah.
Tell me more. My son just bought a motorcycle.
Oh, just bought a bike.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just a little, I don't know, roadster.
Yeah,
Is that
my
what they
first
call it?
my first bike was a Honda, and it was 250cc, which is pretty small.
Yeah,
But my grandfather rode a motorcycle, and I just got the passion. When I was a boy, I wanted a motorcycle.
Right.
And then I was about 25 when I got my first bike, and I got my first bike. I learned to ride. I enjoyed it. Wanted to make sure because some people start riding and it's like this is too scary.
Right.
It can be
It
intimidating.
can be, right.
And it is a very dangerous activity, so people have to be careful.
Shh, I just
I'm
got
just
done
saying,
telling you.
my mom's
son's-
okay with it too. We're okay.
kidding. Yeah.
But it's one of these things where it's total freedom. It gives you this sense of freedom. I love going on trips. I just love everything about
So
it.
where are some of the places that you've gone on your motorcycle?
I haven't done any really really long trips,
Yeah.
but I want to.
I'm sure it's really tiring.
Yeah. Although
My
I
son goes up to Harriman Park.
Harriman's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, Harriman's
Ramapo
fun.
and-
If you go around like you could go down to like Mawa, and there's a nice ride
Oh, yeah,
there.
it's really beautiful in
because
there,
you have
yeah.
like some more scenery and things.
Yeah.
But I just like the feeling of it.
Yeah. So
It
I bet
gives
you.
a good
So it
feeling.
must feel really good for you to be back home.
Yeah, I love being home. I just had a workshop in Ireland, and it was my first time in Ireland. And I
Okay,
loved
tell me
it.
about that. How did you get there? Like, who invited you to go, or how did you get the contacts and things?
That was through a workshop company called Travel Fever.
Oh,
so
cool.
they do
so they
Travel
have,
Fever
it's very
tours.
curated.
Yes, they
Nice.
do. So they do art workshops, which is what I was there as an instructor. But they also do culinary tours and a bunch of other stuff, walking tours.
Very cool.
But I was there teaching a group of plein air artists, and June in Ireland was not as
Little
warm as
nippy.
a little nippy, and rain and sun and rain
so
and
then
sun.
you had to drink the pints to warm you.
Yeah, you had a couple Guinnesses, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's so
But,
fun. But the painting might not be all right after the Guinness.
Yeah, if we loosen up too much. But it was great. It was great. We did a bunch of stuff, the
That's
excursions.
Really cool. Wow.
and,
So where else? I mean, are you going to do anything like that?
Yeah, I'm more interested in doing some workshops. Definitely travel
It's
workshops.
such a cool way for you to,
travel and do it.
travel
Yeah.
and do it just like what your TV show
Yeah,
says.
yeah. I want to try to get to Japan at some point, but
Oh my
we'll
God,
see.
I
We'll
heard
see
that
what
was
happens.
Beautiful. I heard Japan is just
Yeah.
incredible.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, good
My
for
adventure
you.
continues.
And so you were saying that now you're home in Ridgewood, you're comfy, and your brother and sister-in-law just
Yep.
moved back.
Yep. Just had a baby.
So what is it like being an uncle?
It's great because getting to see my brother and his wife, share that love with. So they had a baby girl. His name is Lucy.
Oh,
and,
that's so cute.
She's the cutest baby.
Oh, that's
so
fun.
and I haven't really ever interacted or held a baby. I'd held a baby, but
so this is all new.
This is all new. They're so tiny and but they're loving it. My brother moved back. His wife is originally from Alaska.
Get out of here.
So they moved. They were living in the city, and then my brother said, I really want to come back to Ridgewood. So they came back to Ridgewood, bought a home.
You have to introduce me to her because my whole family's from Alaska.
No way. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, we were so,
I'm sure we have, Alaska is the biggest state in the union, right?
Yes.
And it has the fewest amount of people. So I am positive that we have some crossover.
Yeah.
I'm positive. Yeah.
So and then her parents just bought a house in Ridgewood too, and they were living in France, but then traveled back.
God,
so.
I can't wait to meet them.
Yeah,
Listen,
no, it's great.
I can't even tell you. I have enjoyed this conversation so
too,
much.
yeah.
I wish you all the best. I can't wait to see your TV show, and I want to encourage all of our listeners and our viewers too. So watch that show.
Yeah.
Tell us the name of it again.
So Eric En Plein Air. Eric, my name.
American Public Television.
American Public Television, and it's going to be on some other stations and some other public TV networks.
Awesome.
But probably in a couple months to a year.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
So that's a wrap on this episode of Ridgewood Talks. So thanks again for tuning in, and a huge thank you to Eric for sharing his journey, his passion for painting, and the incredible story of how his path led from Ridgewood all the way to Monet's garden and back. If today's conversation inspired you, keep your eyes open for the next time you're walking around town, because you just might spot Eric doing what he does best, painting en plein air, capturing the light and life of Ridgewood with his signature style. And if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of him cruising by on his Triumph Bonneville, which is living proof that art and adventure go hand in hand. But until then, please subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you like to watch or listen. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Also, if you have a local business or service, listen up. We're now opening up Ridgewood Talks episodes and our social media for sponsorship opportunities. If you'd like to be part of the show, get exposure to over 6,000 social media followers, and at the same time support this important voice for Ridgewood, please reach out to us at ridgewoodtalks@gmail.com, and we'll take good care of you. And I want to give a special thanks to the amazing production team at Ignite Creator Studios for bringing our podcast to life, now with video. And if you'd like to have your very own podcast, please consider Ignite Creator Studios right here in Ridgewood. I'm Jeanne Johnson. Thanks for watching, listening, and supporting Ridgewood Talks. See you next time.